you and I, practicality grows as you get older, you have responsibilities. When you're this age, it really doesn't even make sense to do the things that we grew up thinking we should tell our kids. Like, it actually doesn't make sense, if you think about it, to not try to do the most high risk thing in your 20s. Mm-hmm. That's the time where they could all, literally, they're of the age where you could like all live together in one tiny place, right? Yep. You have no rent in that scenario. This is the age where you can eat horrible food for like $2 and like your body's like cool, no problem. Like, this is the age when you, like, it's been a big passion of mine, which is like, we have to get out of this like, oh, now you're 22, you're a big boy now, and you should have a job. 22 to 30 should be when people take the biggest risks of their lives. They're not affecting anybody else. Right?
My son is doing that. He's almost 30, and he had 2 degrees in music and environmental study.
Yes.
The EPL closed down when he graduated in 2015. And
yes.
When they looked for a job and said he was overqualified, so he didn't get the job. He was very upset.
Yeah.
So for a full year, he did nothing. He just stayed home and just
yes.
here. And he said, "Thank you for at least giving me a roof."
Of course.
Stuff that he went to volunteer at Knowles, the marching band stuff. That
yes.
he did EMT for like 5 years volunteering.
Yes.
So he was not bringing any money.
Yes.
But he was happy enough. So now he decided he worked at the hospital as a script.
Yes.
And he's learning so much medical things. So he plans
cool.
to go as a PA. But
good
in the meantime, he saves every penny. He goes out and he always said, "Mom, you make the best food, so why should I buy something that tastes so good?" So he's home now, and
nice.
We're happy he's home. My daughter, she worked at UConn, and she was in New York during
yes.
the pandemic. So
yes.
she moved back home. She started selling.
So you're the happiest lady in the world.
My kids are home now, and they're saving money.
Love it.
So
you noticed I said that on stage. I think about that a lot. Some people are lucky where they love their parents and their parents love having them, and like, cool, as long as you're not, it's all judgment. Yeah. You guys know you're in the thick of it at this age. Like, it's all judgment. Judgment for your parents, teachers, your friends. All you're thinking about, like, you don't even realize you're thinking about it. All you're really thinking about is what people are thinking about you. Like, it's just real. And, you know, building that strength to get to a place of like, wait a minute, what do I think? Not to posture, not to impress anybody but myself. And so that's hard. That's a journey. But yeah, I think the risk, like, especially film, like, this is 20 to 30 is when you do go to LA and, you know, make $5 an hour or $20 an hour, and in California, $20 an hour, and wait tables and like fucking fight. DM every producer, DM every studio, DM every, like, just fight for it. Yeah. Because you can. Because then you get married often, then you have children, you start worrying about other things.
But you said too, like social media, I mean, you all know how to use it. And this opportunity is right there for them. Why aren't making content and just getting it out there?
You're one video away.
Yeah.
But the other thing is where it gets daunting is every other kid knows how to do it too.
Right.
And they're like, "Gary, there's too much competition." I'm like, then you shouldn't win.
Right.
Like, I love when people are like, "Gary, there's too much people posting." I'm like, okay. Like that's how life works. Like, if you're not good enough and you're not good at making movies, you're not gonna make movies.
Right.
But not trying to, then you're 40, that's right, then you're 47 working some job, thinking back to when you were 20 and be like, why the fuck didn't I go for it? You know, Steve, I think for me, it was a journey of losing a lot as a child. You know, I was an immigrant, I didn't speak the language, so it was hard for me to, you know, make friends when I first got to America. Then I was a bad student, so all my teachers said, "No, you're a failure, bad, push against." I wasn't, you know, after about 3rd or 4th grade, it was clear to me that I was not remarkable at sports. So there wasn't that thing that a lot of kids rely on. So I basically lived a life with a lot of adversity and a lot of no. You know, my parents didn't buy me things. "Mom, I want Nintendo." No. You know, like, my life was about no. And so it was very easy once I became an adult to be comfortable in no. For a lot of you, my children included, no was, you were in the business of yes, you know, and in that became the vulnerability because no seemed scary, foreign. So I think the biggest way for you or anybody else at a more advanced stage of not being a child anymore is getting into the practice of losing and doing no's, trying things that are hard for you, doing things that require no. People need to have a relationship with no, and that is only something that either you are serendipitously growing up with and or something that you manufacture for yourself when you get older by putting yourself in uncomfortable positions so that you become more comfortable with rejection. It's ironic you asked that question. Literally, my Instagram post that I snuck in while I was doing the interview with Emma, because I multitask, you might have saw me looking down at some point. Literally this post that I just posted is that people are too addicted to positive reinforcement. You're smart, you're pretty, that's awesome. Once you believe that, you become susceptible to negative reinforcement. So Niall, the reason I'm able to deal with pushback and no is actually when Emma introduces me and says all those nice things, I don't believe them. I don't know how else to say it. When I hear that I'm a 5-time New York Times bestseller, that's funny to me because I failed all my English and writing classes. When I hear, when Emma says something like, you've actually made a dent in this global advertising, this, Niall, you were with us very early on. That's funny. We were like a ragtag group of 50 people that just were sitting in an office, right? You know this. So for me, I don't get high on my accomplishments, which allows me to not get low on when I'm dealing with negativity. I just keep it very zen, very in the middle. Like, I'm aware of what I've got going on and where it's going. And I'm also aware that I'm 44 years old, which means I have a lot of time to build on this. And it can end up being in a very crazy place, not financially, on impact. I'm well known at this point and I'm just starting. So I know that kind of, God willing, with health and all that, my destiny at some level is for some pretty big bridges, but that will never make me think that I'm better than somebody or I'm greater than, which allows me to then deal with the negativity that comes along with that much notoriety. And I like that. I like that I don't get too high and I don't get too low.
That is a difficult thing to do because you're constantly thinking about what the others are saying, even though they're on the sidelines. They're not playing the game, you're still in it.
Sometimes that other is your brother that you looked up to. Sometimes that other is your mom who came to the country and did everything for. Like, sometimes that other is like somebody you really fuck with and love. Yeah. But you still can't do it.
So how do you get to a place where, and you talked about like emotional and mental practice, how do you get to a place where you can start cultivating the things to stop the
practice? I'll give you an example. In her scenario, my scenario too. My mom is I love her. She's like, I don't want to disappoint her. I'm like, okay, do something right now that will disappoint her. Not like something crazy. Don't go murder someone. I'm talking like if your mom's like you got to either go talk to her or do something. You got to practice feeling it. This is why I'm scared of A students. Right. If you're an A student your whole life, like, you fear a B.
To commit suicide to these kids.
It's because we're not having the right conversations. This is why I'm motivated. Like, as if a B, I wish I got a B. Right. I was, in high school, I was ranked 243 out of 254.
Damn.
Straight F student.
I was a D student. D. Like, I got A's in gym. The only 4 A's I got in high school were gym.